What's going on, everybody? So I'm here at the Georgetown waterfront just trying to find a good place to shoot this video. There seems to be hundreds if not thousands of people just walking around. Nobody seems to be working today, and I'm not sure if that's just today or every day in Washington DC, but we're gonna shoot this video anyways, even with the distractions, not to mention the helicopters and planes and boats and everything else. But let's get into it. So in today's video, I'm giving a review of the Social Media Mastery Summit hosted by Stewman, who, if you don't know, is a pretty interesting guy. I think the seminar lasted, it was a one-day training event in Dallas at his headquarters, and it was a full-day training, 7 hours. So this guy was basically up there for 7 hours, just really high energy, extremely entertaining. I mean, it was almost worth the price just from like a stand-up comedy or interesting stories, interesting life story perspective, as it was, learning some good marketing strategies. And one of the best things I liked about it, just to start off with, was that there was about 50 people there, and the room was just full of other entrepreneurs, CEOs, salespeople, really just people that were completely crushing it. I mean, a lot of people that you've probably heard of, honestly. There's some best-selling authors, 8, 9-figure business owners, some really heavy hitters in the room. So for starters, it was just to be around that quality, that caliber of business people was really just in itself, even if the seminar wasn't worth a damn thing, which it wasn't, but even if the whole seminar was a waste, just being around that quality of people really steps your game up, because you see people that are just completely crushing it on a whole other level that you're not even like aware of when you first signed up for it. But anyways, one of the first things I noticed when he got started, because I took notes, I didn't try to take like 10 pages of notes and then not do anything. My whole strategy when I like to go to these seminars is maybe take like a page of notes, but then try to find 3 or 4 or even 5 things that I can just implement, the next day, or when I get back home. So one of the first things that he said was that from a public speaking standpoint, and he was really polished as a public speaker, and he was saying that he spends tens of thousands of dollars and has been trained by guys like Marshall Silver, Frank Kern, Russell Brunson. And when I say polished, I don't necessarily mean using proper grammar and things like that. In fact, it was quite the opposite. He was more polished in the sense that it was completely entertaining, tons of value, and just really high energy. There was never a moment when I was kind of like checking my watch or my phone or anything like that, like, okay, when is this going to be over? The whole thing was entertaining. So right off the bat, I learned, look, if you want to be a high income earner, make 7, 8 figures a year in your business, you should learn public speaking. That's going to be an asset that most people are not going to put any time or effort to, mostly because they're scared, or maybe they're just not interested, or they're not even aware that the amount of income that you can make from adding that to kind of your repertoire of business skills, so to speak. The next thing I wrote down, and this isn't necessarily a social media thing, this is just an entire business thing, was focusing on your health. So he puts a ton of focus on nutrition, health training, things like that, so that he can run at his full peak potential. Because you see a lot of people, they might work, let's say 60, 70, 80 hours a week, but if you're eating bad, if you're not working out, those hours are not going to be very productive. So he was actually saying in 6 hours of just focused work, productivity time, he probably gets more done than most people do in 8 or 9 hour day. So he really makes good use of the time that he's actually working. The next couple of things I learned were just pretty practical social media tips, but still pretty valuable. Like, for instance, if you're doing Facebook and LinkedIn marketing, people check Facebook 4 times a day. People check LinkedIn twice a week. Now, I think with LinkedIn, there's like different income levels. I think the average income on LinkedIn is significantly higher than Facebook. But just generally speaking, more people are looking at Facebook than obviously LinkedIn. So that would be something to know right there. The next thing, and this is kind of like a basic social media formula, but still worth it to know. So the social media formula is entertainment plus value and then offer. So you want to do kind of a combination of those things. You don't want to just like make offers all day. You want to offer value, you want to be entertaining, as much as you can, and then you want to throw in an offer. And I think he said the ratio, should be something around like 5 to 1. So for every 5 posts where you're offering value, being entertaining, then you can do like 1 post where maybe you're doing some type of offer. Because I think we all know the person on social media that might just, constantly just blast people with, sign up here, do this now, type of thing. So you want to kind of offer a little bit more value before you just ask people to do things. So the next thing I learned was that the number 1 time people are on social media is at 4:30 p.m. So if you're trying to schedule a post or do some type of social media thing, 4:30 would be the best time, because people, obviously they're getting off work, maybe they're just counting down, the last 30 minutes before they leave. So that's an ideal time to be sending out your message, offering value, being entertaining, whatever it may be. Okay, next up is educating people. So you want to try to, whatever your product or service is, you want to try to educate people as much as possible. And let's say you just have 500 or 1,000 friends, or even more than that. It's just inevitable that people are going to want to do business with you. I used to not use Facebook whatsoever, and actually I still need to get better at it, but I would post like one thing about real estate, and I remember like 6 months later, people would still be hitting me up about, real estate and stuff like that, much less if I had actually been consistent with posting. If people know you're in real estate, for example, they know you're doing deals, they're going to reach out, ask for advice, maybe want to do a deal with you, invest with you, buy a house from you, whatever it may be. Honestly, I think education is the best form of marketing, just information marketing, in the sense, look, you're providing helpful info. Like, for example, with real estate, it might be, 7 things you need to learn before you sell a house, or there's a million different ways you could go with that. So providing as much information and free information as possible is really key. He also covered video marketing, and he talked about the importance of, like YouTube videos like I'm doing right now, Facebook Live and things like that. And with YouTube, if you want to start doing videos, you're going to be terrible at first. I was terrible when I first got started. If you look back, if you click on my oldest videos, I am so bad, and I'm still actually really bad. But I see a little bit of progress every video I do. And even over the course of just like 5 or 10 or 15 videos, I try to make my videos a little bit better than last time. Like, for example, I upgraded my camera. Now I have a little bit better camera. Now I have a little bit better intro. Now I'm a little bit just better on camera, just in general, just because I've probably done, 100 or so videos. So with the video marketing, just focus on getting it out there, because 99% of people are way too scared to ever make any type of video. So just the fact that you're actually doing a video, you're gonna be in, like the 1%. And I can guarantee you, every single video that you do, you will get better and better. And then you can watch other people's YouTube videos, get some ideas from them, start implementing some things that you learned from, some of the top YouTubers, and it becomes a lot easier. Next thing I learned is with social media, you don't need to spend like 10 hours a day just constantly like updating Facebook, Instagram, whatever it may be. You can be strategic about it, so you can schedule your posts in advance. There's just no reason to just be browsing social media for hours on end. That's not an effective strategy, so to speak. I think what he does is he schedules a lot of his Facebook posts, because he does really long Facebook posts, which is actually good for the Facebook algorithm. You want to have longer Facebook posts so people stay on your page longer, click on it, and kind of like read to see exactly what you're saying. If you're just on Facebook 8 hours a day, that's not quote unquote working. You got to have some type of strategy behind it. So maybe you want to post at 4:30, and then early, 9 a.m. when people first get to work and they're just kind of refreshing their email and checking social media. You want to avoid the negative. Facebook, YouTube, other social media sites, they don't like negative. And actually, I think it's especially true for YouTube. They will actually downgrade your video if it's too negative. We've got like helicopters and planes just flying by every 2 seconds around here. So anyways, YouTube does not like negativity. So try, if you want to do a video where you're just bashing your customer or bashing somebody, that's probably not going to be a very highly ranked video. They have certain algorithms that can kind of pick up on negativity somehow. And so it will make a big difference. So try to make your videos positive, inspirational, like a good overall message. Okay, one of the next things I learned, and this was actually from one of his speakers, who's a very famous author and business person, was he was saying that you need to have about 100,000 in just liquid capital available for different investments or available for things that come up. And if you're networking with the right people, if you're actively making the good choices in business, you will have opportunities where you might need 100K liquid capital to maybe purchase real estate. Maybe it's invest in something. As an example of this, just in my own area in Washington, D.C., there was, I think it was like a flag frisbee. We have professional flag frisbee, believe it or not. And one of the teams was like needed money to continue being an ultimate flag frisbee team. And I don't know the cost. I'm sure it's actually much less than 100,000, but that would have been a great opportunity to actually possibly purchase a team. Now, I don't know how much they're worth or things like that, but if you're networking in the right circles and you hear of an opportunity like that, and maybe you put 25, 50K, you buy them some jerseys, take them to happy hour. I don't know the dynamics of flag frisbee or how much a team is worth, but that's becoming a very popular sport now. That you see the games on ESPN3, you see it on Instagram, some of the catches and throws that they do. So that that's an example of one opportunity right there. Another tip I learned, and this was really kind of a whole theme of the seminar, was just coming from an abundance mindset. So he was saying you can't save your way to wealth. So I think too many people think, if you save, $2 a day from not buying coffee, and he gave that example, then, 100 years later, you might have, $1 million. And yeah, I guess that's a strategy, but a better strategy would just be learning skills that can create more wealth faster, learning social media marketing, learning just different skills that can increase your wealth on a much faster, time frame than, saving a nickel every day, or whatever super conservative strategy a lot of gurus want to talk about. Okay, so just a couple last tips before we wrap this video up. This next one came from his mentor, Marshall Silver, who's actually a very interesting, very success-minded individual. And he was saying that you should use every ace that they give you. And the way I see that is you should probably use every resource, any weakness that maybe your competition has, maybe take advantage of that, or just play every ace that they give you. I think it's pretty straightforward. And then one of the last things I learned from his social media summit was that he spends, I think, 6 figures a year just on mastermind events and coaching and trainings and things like that. So it's so funny because this guy, makes, his businesses make, I think he has 9 businesses and make millions and millions of dollars each year. And he's still spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on mastermind events, coaching, training, just to get better. And it's funny because you'll have people that are actually, somewhat successful maybe in sales or business that would completely scoff at the idea of spending, a couple $100, couple $1,000, even $10,000 or $20,000, much less $100,000 on trainings and masterminds. A lot of people think it's like a hype, it's kind of like almost a scam, or different opinions like that. Most people are perfectly okay spending $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 on master's degrees from professors that oftentimes haven't even done their own business that they're talking about, but they're unwilling to spend a couple days and spend a few $1,000s, learning from successful entrepreneurs. And I think it's a shame, but it gives a lot of opportunity to the people like me who actually go to these seminars and try to, probably try to go to 3 or 4 or 5 seminars. I'm nowhere near spending $100,000 or $200,000 a year on masterminds just yet. But at some point, that should be a goal of yours, to try to spend that amount, because if you're spending that amount on masterminds and trainings, you're probably making 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 times that in your yearly income or your business. So thanks for watching this video, and just to recap, I would highly recommend attending seminars or getting training from Ryan Stewman. He's the real deal. This guy was super entertaining, offered a ton of value, probably could have charged 5 or even 10 times what he was charging us to go there. And overall, just an amazing experience. So definitely, if you like this video, press like, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.